The galaxy had one rule it never wrote down, but always enforced. Humanity did not belong in it, not because they were the strongest, not because they were the smartest, but because they refused to stay in place. Every species the Galactic Council had ever encountered followed a pattern: growth, structure, obedience. Even warlike civilizations eventually learned hierarchy. Even rebels eventually learned limits. Earth did not. It was chaos wrapped in skin and ambition. When the scanners first found the blue planet, analysts marked it as harmless, primitive, divided, a species that spent more time fighting itself than exploring the stars. But there was one line in the report that made the Council pause: extreme adaptability under pressure. Unknown upper limit. They ignored it. Captain Roll of the Varn fleet stood before the holographic projection of Earth. It is already divided, the strategist said. Multiple governments, conflicting languages, no unified defense network capable of space resistance. Roll nodded. Then assimilation will be simple. A diplomatic signal was sent. Peaceful contact. Standard procedure. It never came back. Instead, a single transmission echoed across deep space channels. A human voice, calm, direct. "This is Alan. We're not interested in joining your council. Leave our system." Then silence. The council did not negotiate with silence, so they answered with force. 3 invasion fleets entered Earth's orbit within 1 rotation of its sun. The council expected collapse within hours. There were no orbital defenses worth noting. No interstellar weapons, no fleets, just a single inhabited planet trying to understand extinction in real time. But then something strange happened. One fleet went dark. No explosion, no distress call, no debris field, just gone. Sensors showed empty space where thousands of ships had been. Then the second fleet vanished, and the third never fired a shot before, disappearing from every known tracking system. Panic spread through the council chambers. This was impossible. Primitive species did not erase entire fleets without evidence, unless they weren't primitive at all. On Earth, deep beneath layers of ocean and stone, something old was waking. A buried network, not military, not governmental, something built for moments when everything else failed. A global signal pulsed through forgotten lines of code, and at its center, one identifier repeated across every surviving system: Alan Global Response Node active. A calm voice answered incoming distress calls from every continent. No panic, no hesitation, just certainty. "Yet," Alan said softly, "I see them." A pause. Then, like he was checking the weather rather than the edge of extinction, "Give me 10 minutes. Above Earth, space itself began to distort again, and for the first time in recorded galactic history, the invaders realized they might not be the ones doing the hunting. Alan. The last signal of art. The Council of 12 had survived collapsing stars-plagued worlds and civil wars that burned entire systems to ash, but they had never faced something they could not classify, and now they had a name for it: Alan. After 3 invasion fleets vanished without debris, the galaxy did not celebrate victory or peace. It felt fear. Because fear comes from not knowing what you are dealing with. Captain Roll stood in the command chamber, staring at the static-filled tactical map of Earth. "Run diagnostics again," he ordered. "We already did," the analyst replied quietly. "There is no residual energy, no wreckage, no escape signals. It is as if the fleets were removed from space entirely." Roll's jaw tightened. "That is impossible." "Yes, sir. But it is consistent. Across the council, reports multiply. Entire fleets gone. No battle signatures. No distress calls. No recordings of last moments. Just empty space where thousands of ships had been. And Earth remained unchanged. Small. Blue. Silent. As if nothing had ever reached it. Then the second transmission arrived. A human voice, cutting through patched satellite debris and corrupted relay systems. "This is Alan again," it said, calm, controlled. "You're escalating something that doesn't need to be escalated." A pause. Only wind in the background. Maybe rain. Maybe static. "We said we're not joining anything. Not your council. Not your systems. Not your rules." Another pause. "But you keep coming anyway." The voice lowered slightly. "That's the problem." Roll leaned forward. "Find the origin point." The technician shook his head. "There isn't one. The signal is fragmented across Earth's entire network. Old servers, emergency relays, abandoned military grids. Even disconnected systems are responding." Roll frowned. "So it is a coordinated defense network." The technician hesitated. "No, sir. It is a distributed one, like the planet itself is answering. Deep beneath Earth's surface, something long dormant continued to wake. Not a weapon, not a government, a buried global system, built from every emergency protocol humanity ever created, connected, layered, forgotten. A last response layer for when everything else failed. And at its center, one identifier echoed across every node. Allen, global response active. Above Earth, the fourth invasion fleet prepared. This time, it was not underestimating humanity. It was preparing to erase it completely. Roll gave the order. Begin final strike. On Earth, Allen spoke once more. Not angry, not afraid, just finished waiting. Yet, he said softly, I tried doing this the easy way. A pause. Then every system on the planet lit up at once. But you didn't listen. Above the atmosphere, space began to fold again. And for the first time in the galaxy's history, it understood that Earth had never been defenseless. It had simply been restrained. Allen. The last signal of Earth. The fourth invasion fleet arrived with certainty. The Council of 12 had corrected its mistake. Earth would be erased completely. Captain will watch the formation lock into orbit. Target the planet, he ordered. All systems, fire. Weapons charge gravitational disruptors. Orbital sterilization arrays enough to silence a world. Fire. For a moment, nothing happened. Then every system in the fleet flickered, not failing, responding. A quiet interference spread through command channels, and Earth answered. This is Allen, the voice said. Calm. You really don't learn, do you? Roll froze. Trace it. But there was nothing to trace. Allen was already inside their systems, not hacking, existing. Across the fleet, alarms erupted. Weapons locked out. Navigation systems rewrote themselves. Allen's voice filled every channel. We've been patient, he said. But patience isn't permission. On Earth, buried networks synchronized. Old defense protocols and forgotten systems aligned into one structure. Not a government, not an AI. A civilization refusing to be overwritten. And at its center, Allen, Roll shouted. Override him. We can't. It's embedded in everything. They were not attacking Earth. They were inside its response. Allen spoke again. You came thinking we were just a planet, but we're not. Ships began to drift. Power fading. Weapons disarming. We're a conclusion. Space folded around the fleet. Ships vanished, not destroy, but removed. Roll's final view of Earth remained unchanged. Small. Blue. Alive. The Council received no surrender. Only silence. On Earth, systems settled back into sleep. Allen's voice faded. Call us when you're ready to talk. Earth was not protected by walls. It was protected by memory. And the galaxy learned the truth. Humans do not need to be the strongest. Only the ones who refuse to disappear.